Be confident, be bold, be authentic, but don't forget to take action. This is Ordinary to Badass, where our stories empower women to step into the spotlight of their own lives and pursue what they're truly passionate about. It's time to step into the arena and become more than just extraordinary. It's time to become a badass with your host, Marie Sonneman.
Welcome to Ordinary to Badass, episode number 150. In this episode, you're going to hear from Francesca Alejandra, and she is a self-worth and empowerment coach. She talks about human design. If you don't know what that is, stay tuned, because I didn't either, but you'll hear it from Francesca herself. And she also does energy healing and oracle and tarot. So you're going to want to hear from Francesca. She has so many great things to share, and she's absolutely a badass. She made a move from like Chile to the United States without knowing anybody. There's just so many great nuggets in her story. And she talks about overcoming her eating disorder. So absolutely make sure you check out this episode if that sounds at all of interest to you. And then at the end of the episode, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about It's Not About the Numbers challenge. It's a new challenge. And if you've ever struggled with your weight or with being in debt or your finances, you're definitely going to want to jump on this challenge, and you'll hear more at the end. And also check out the podcast notes. Then you'll see the link to sign up. All right, let's hear from Francesca. Welcome to Ordinary to Badass. Whether you're ordinary or badass, I'm glad you're here. Today's guest is Francesca Alejandra. Francesca, thank you so much for being here. Excited to have you on the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm super excited to be here.
So before we go any further, I've got to ask you, do you consider yourself ordinary or badass?
To be honest, I consider myself to be both. I consider myself to be just another person like anyone else. However, I think what makes me a badass is just the desire of, more than the desire, the determination to really following my heart, which is the hardest thing to do for most people.
So why do you say that it's the hardest thing to do?
I think it's just like making that choice and follow through. It's deciding to stop being so caught up with what people expect from you and really follow what you want to do, what you desire, what you deserve, like just go after the life you want.
So is there anything that you do to kind of pull yourself back to center, back to what you want?
Yeah, I try to check in with me daily and really be mindful of how am I spending my time, be mindful of where am I going? I always ask myself that question. What am I doing right now that is pulling me towards the place that I want to go, or what is holding me back? And why am I allowing that to hold me back? And then do the work around it.
Yeah, I think that's so important. We often forget to check in with ourselves and see, how we're feeling. Or I know for me, like something that I struggled with for a long time was like paying attention to my body, because your body kind of gives you signals about how you're feeling, but it's good to check in with that.
Yeah, I mean, your body always gives you, signals, and we tend to ignore our bodies so much. And what we normally do, it's actually numbing our body, with distractions, with food, with relationships, just anything. And it's so important to just sometimes just stop and feeling, what's going on inside of you, and let that inform you.
Yeah. And I'm writing that down because I like that phrase, like numbing your body, because it is. And then the more you do that, the more you get accustomed to just ignoring it and numbing it.
Yeah. It's definitely a cycle that I'm very aware of, because personally, I've been dealing with, and I would say now I'm in a really good place compared to like my entire journey, but I've been dealing with eating disorders for over 20 years. And so I know what it's numbing like,
Right, right.
And yeah, it's huge.
I can't wait to dive in and to hear more of your story. But first, will you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah. So I am a self-worth and empowerment coach. I also do human design readings. I've been doing it for a few years already. And I also, whenever I can, I do theater here in the community where I live. Yeah.
So I have to be honest, before we got on this call, I looked up what a human design coach was, and because I didn't know. So can you explain that?
Yeah, absolutely. It's sort of new, not that new, but compared with like astrology and other similar things, it's kind of new. And I always explain it as something similar to astrology, but it goes a lot deeper. And it's actually a mix between different modalities like astrology and the I Ching, the chakra system, also biochemistry, genetics. It has a little bit of science and also some spirituality mix in it. So yeah, it's complex, but it's really, really interesting. And it's basically, it gives you like the blueprint of your soul, all your strengths, all your gifts, and all the ways that your body operates energetically.
So why would somebody get a human design coach, or what's the benefit?
So the reading, it's basically to gain self-awareness. To me personally, it gave me permission to realize that so many things that I was fighting about myself, like some certain traits that I have, are actually part of my design and the way I am wired. And it also helps you to move through life with less resistance, because if you honor your strategy, your authority, and really use your strengths and your potential, then you're better prepared for life. It's really interesting and helpful just by itself.
How has it helped you or changed your life?
To me, it's been the way I make decisions. It's really listening to my intuition a lot more. The way I approach people and situations as well. Really honoring that I'm wired to be a little introverted. And so for a long time, I was like, oh, why do I isolate myself so much? And it's in my archetype. It's right there. It's like, I need time alone. It's like, the way I recharge my energy as well. So there were so many aspects to it that have been very helpful in my personal life, the way I relate with other people, the way I do business, the way I share about my journey as well. So yeah, it's been really, really helpful for me.
Yes. And I can totally relate when you talked about being an introvert. That's absolutely me. And I grew up and I was one of 6 kids, and I was like the only introvert. So I was kind of the odd one, or I always thought like, okay, why do I always need to be by myself? But there's definitely something to say about getting to by yourself and recharging if that's what you need.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, it's been fun.
Mm-hmm. I know that you're a self-worth coach and empowerment coach. What is something that your clients commonly struggle with?
Normally it's confidence. It's feeling worthy, feeling deserving, feeling that they have something to contribute to the world. They usually don't see their potential and their talents that are very, very obvious. Like I've had clients that are writers and they send me like, oh yeah, I'm starting this book. Like, would you like to read my first chapter? And I'm like, please send it out. And it's amazing. And I'm like, how come you don't see that you're awesome? So I get a lot of people like that, very talented. And I'm also, I don't know if you're familiar with the Enneagram, but I am an Enneagram 4. So that feeling of being, kind of like unworthy or broken, it's very common in the Enneagram 4. And most of my clients are Enneagrams 4.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
So what is something, if you're lacking confidence or you don't see how you can contribute, what is something that you suggest that your clients do so that they can increase their confidence?
Yeah. So I have a whole framework that is actually called Worthy. And part of the framework, it's really recognizing your strengths. It's like sometimes going back to all the situations that you have faced in your life, because it's very hard sometimes to see it yourself, all the times that you have shown like amazing resilience or very like strong in that hard situation, or so all the challenges that you have overcome in the past. Sometimes also asking people around you, what do you come to me for? Like, what are my strengths? Like finding all those things. And I use different techniques for that. Like one will be, journaling about past situations, or asking your friends, or human design, for example. It's a big tool that I use also with my clients. So it's basically seeing your strengths and starting to value all the things that you already have. And then the confidence also, it's built by doing things, so you got to take those steps, and it's the hardest thing ever, but it's the only way that you can build that confidence. It's like seeing your strengths and taking that step, and then it feels icky and it feels like it's not perfect. Of course it won't be, and then do it again and doing it again, and that's how you build confidence, and that's how you move forward too.
Yeah, absolutely. I think action is so important. And I know like one thing that's always helped me is no matter when I'm starting something new, I'm like, okay, no matter where I am 5 years from now, I'm always going to be embarrassed by where I was at today. The beginnings are always embarrassing.
Totally. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's like, it doesn't even matter how perfect you try to get it. No matter what, after you have some experience under your belt, it's gonna be embarrassing to you.
Right.
So
yeah.
What do you do when you start to feel like you're lacking confidence in a certain area?
I mean, to be honest, it's always a struggle, because we always have that resistance, no matter how many things you do. Always, especially when you're starting something new, there's this like fear and this like sort of like vulnerability, of doing something new and knowing that it's not going to be great, most likely, but still taking those steps. So what I do, it's like taking responsibility. That's part of what I teach to my clients as well. It's like, okay, we need to take ownership, and it's like, okay, if I want to do this, I have to take those steps, and being accountable to myself. And so, yeah, I start committing. I've been thinking about starting a podcast, for example, for months. And I'm telling you, like probably like last year, December, November last year. And I've been pushing it. And let's say in March or April, I found the song that I wanted, and but I couldn't take any steps. I'm like, I had sort of like an idea. And then finally yesterday, I'm like, okay, I'm buying the rights for the song. I am telling the world that I'm doing it. And I posted it in my Instagram stories. I'm like, starting my podcast, launches in November 2nd. That's it. That's how you do it. Now
I love it.
Of course I'm terrified, and I'm like, well, most likely it will suck, or at the beginning, because it's like you're learning, like that's the only way you can do it, but you have to.
Yes. Now, I think it's always scary, like trying new things or like pushing your comfort zone, but in any way, does it get easier the more you start to push your comfort zone and do things you're not always, comfortable with? A little bit redundant, but
Right. Yeah, definitely. I think it gets easier. But again, like you always go for things that are bigger. So there's always that, because otherwise you don't grow. You don't grow from, if you're staying in your comfort zone. You got to push yourself. So I think it doesn't get that much easier, but you get used to being uncomfortable. I think that's a secret. It's like being comfortable being uncomfortable, basically.
Yeah. What is it they say? New levels, new devils.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
I think something that we often struggle with is this imposter syndrome, this feeling like we're not enough or somebody could do it better than we could do it. What do you say to that?
I think that's something that everybody has, everybody. It's like when we try to, I mean, of course, we need to overcome that. But I feel like I've seen it with people that I think they're way further than me and they're amazing, incredible. And they tell me sometimes, Francesca, sometimes I wake up in the middle of the night and I think, oh my gosh, what if all my clients go away? What if they think that I'm a failure? What if they think that I'm not enough or I'm, like those fears, everybody has those fears and those doubts. So I think it's more about recognizing it, accepting it, and then still moving forward inside those feelings. Because it's also, it's also a sign that you really care about what you're doing. You want to do something that is valuable. You want to do something that is significant and helpful for other people as well. And so, you can see it from that side as well and say, well, I want to do things right,
Right. And that's a great point, because it's like, if you're worried about it and concerned about it, chances are you're not going to put crap out into the world anyway, because you want to put out, the best thing that you can.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I know that people probably see you and they're like, oh, Francesca, she's a badass, she has it all together. But we all go through these hardships and these struggles. Can you share with us a hardship or a struggle that you've gone through to get to where you are today?
Oh my gosh, there's so many. I don't know where to start. Yeah, I feel like, but I think that's what makes people a badass. It's going through all those struggles and building that resilience and learning and growing and keep pushing. Because I feel like my entire life, it's been exactly that. It's like my eating disorders. That's been my biggest struggle. I had depression at some point in my life when I was in high school. And then I was working as a physical therapist and I felt really unfulfilled. And then I, decided to start over and I left my home country and, I came here and started from zero without knowing anyone. And so it's always been that sort of like struggling, but also growing. And I love that, honestly. And that I always try to share my struggles with people, including my clients, because I feel that that's what makes us relatable, because I am so far from perfect and I'm so far from not struggling. I struggle all the time, if it's not anxiety, it's like, fear about something or feeling unworthy, because sometimes you still feel unworthy and you still feel like you're not enough and criticize your body or whatever that is, so it's such an important part of growth and becoming who you really are. It's like going through all those struggles and learning from it.
Yeah, that's so good. I've got to ask you about moving to a new country without knowing anybody. What were you feeling like before you took that leap? And what encouraged you, or how did you give yourself permission to do that? I want to hear about that journey.
Yeah, so I wanted to do it. I was thinking about it for like at least 1 year, year and a half. And I was trying to get my physical therapist license here. But then I also knew that I hated my career. So I'm like, okay, what's the point? I'm going to go from, it's like, I'm going to change locations, but I'm going to still doing something I hate. So what's the point? And then the process, it was just getting so slow and I was feeling very frustrated. And then my dad, one day, it was my birthday, and he told me, okay, I got something for you, take it or leave it. I got you a plane ticket. And how about you go check it out, see if you even like it, and then make a decision. You're doing all this work, you're trying to get this like license so bad, and then maybe you will hate it there. So how about you do it? And I was terrified. I'm like, no. And I literally thought 40 reasons why it was a horrible idea. But then in my heart, it felt expansive. It was like this, like that spark of light. And I'm like, I had to just choose my heart at that point. And I'm like, okay, worst thing can happen. It's like, I come back, I hate it, and I come back, and then whatever, then I can think of something else, and so I did it, and I told my dad I want the plane ticket, and I want it for like 2 weeks from now, because
Oh, wow.
if I think too much or too long, I'm not gonna do it, so that's pretty much how it was. It was like something like that. And then I came for a few months, and I loved it. And I'm like, yeah, that's where I belong. And so then I went back, and then I did all the things to move, definitely to the US. And it's been the best decision I have made in my entire life. It changed my entire life. Yeah.
So what country did you move from? And how long have you been in the US now?
So I moved from Chile, South America, and I've been here for 7 years.
So I have to say, your dad, he's a badass. I love that he did that, because I mean, that's so hard, especially to, have your kid move across country, but he kind of put your needs ahead of his own, it sounds like, because he could see how much you wanted it.
Yeah. I mean, he was, up until this point, I always tell him, like, it was you give me that push, like, like, try it, boom, go. And then my mom, every time they fight, it's like, she's like, it's your fault that my girl left. That's funny. But yeah, it really, it changed my entire life. Like, everything I am, everything I have achieved, and not only achieved in terms of like, success, quote unquote, because I don't consider myself successful or anything, I'm still in a path of, growing and healing and doing all these things, but it definitely changed my life and who I am. It's like, I'm a different person, and all the healing that I got, from my eating disorders, that was one thing. And then also finding within myself that, I don't know, like that badassing sort of side of me, that was always in there, but like seeing myself and knowing that I am capable of things that I never thought I would be capable of, like moving by myself, not knowing anybody, like building a life of my own. And it's been incredible.
Yes, it sounds both terrifying and like absolutely thrilling.
Right. That's kind of how it was. Yeah. For sure.
So what did you do once you got here to like meet new people? 'Cause I know that can be hard, like stepping out of your comfort zone and meeting new people.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I remember when I first got here, I was in this hotel room, and of course I didn't pack that much. So I remember being in bed, and I got something. I called the restaurant, whatever, in the same hotel, got food from room service. And then I remember I panicked for like, for like 10 minutes. I looked at my, all my clothes and stuff. And I'm like, oh, shit, like, what did I do? Like, what, what am I going to do? Like, I'm all by myself. It's terrifying. But then I don't know. I remember I closed my eyes. I meditated for like 10, 15 minutes, and then I calmed down. And I never felt terrified again. It was weird. It was just like this, I trusted it so much, and I could feel that I was doing the right thing. And life showed me that too, because it was so easy to get to know people and get my life going, finding a place to live, and then working, and then just finding the right people and new friends, and pretty much family, people that I will call my family now. So yeah, I feel like life kind of like showed me
Right.
it's the right.
What did that whole experience teach you?
God, that I am way stronger than I thought, that I am capable of way more than I think. Even now that I think, like, where am I going to be in 5 years from now? And I get all excited because it's like, wow, like, it's really realizing that you're capable of so much more than you think. Because I was also very shy. I've always been shy and always felt very powerless, and always felt like I needed my family to survive, or I needed a husband, I needed to get married, I needed to have someone to save me. And then experiencing the opposite, it's just so powerful.
Yes, I love that. So I love how you put that. And then it's also like, okay, your life can change so much in just 5 years. Like, we underestimate how much we can accomplish or how much change we can make in just 5 years.
Yeah. And also, like, how your life can change in only one decision you make. It takes one decision to change your entire life. And that's something I learned. It's like, if I hadn't had take that plane ticket, where would I be today? It's just one choice.
Yeah. And sometimes I find that, like, and I fall into this trap sometimes too. Like, we think it has to be like the big choice, the big thing that like changes everything. But a lot of times it's just the small ones that make it life-changing.
Absolutely. Yeah. And also, like, knowing that you don't have to have it all figured out before making a decision. It's like, it's just choosing the right next step. And that's it. That's all you need. You will never, because honestly, if you had asked me like 7 years ago, where would I be like today, I will never, ever, ever imagine the journey I've had so far,
Yeah.
I only imagine myself being a physical therapist somewhere, I don't know, in Alabama. I don't know. Like, seriously, like, I would never, ever have pictured this.
So then it's you're not doing physical therapy now, or are you?
No, I never pursued the physical therapy thing. I kind of like abandoned the process halfway. And honestly, I don't regret it. I don't think I will be happy working as a physical therapist. Like, I'm happy. I there's many things I learned, and I'm grateful for that, but it's not my passion,
Yeah. And I wonder if you making the step to move, like, change that for you. Because if you had stayed where you were, maybe you would have just kept going down that path, even though it wasn't what you wanted to do anymore.
Oh, absolutely. And because life, I feel like the universe always tests you. Right after I decided to come here, I got a great job opportunity back home. An opportunity that I was waiting for so long, in a hospital working with kids. And I'm like, but I knew it. I'm like, if I take this job right now, I'm not going to go. And that's it. So I had to turn it down.
Yeah. And can you talk about that a little bit more? How the universe always tests you, like what you mean by that?
Yeah, I feel like it's a way of saying, are you sure that this is what you want? And do you trust me also? It's like having that trust and really showing that what you want. It's like being very specific about what you want. It's like, I made the decision, and then it's like, okay, here's the shiny carrot, here's the job. And then I don't know, like, I there was a guy back home that I had this like huge crush on, like for years and years. And then we ended up like hooking up before I came. And I was like, the same thing. It's like, oh, no, I'm not staying for him. You know, I'm not staying for this job. It's like, I'm going, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like the same thing happens here sometimes when I have, because I've been trying to call in a partner into my life. And I believe that part of the process, it's also saying no to the things that don't align, you know, because otherwise it's like energetically, if you think about it, if you're calling in something very specific, okay, I want a partner that it's, for example, emotionally available and wants commitment and all that stuff. But then I just settle with someone that isn't that, and it's unavailable or whatever. It's like you're showing to the universe, like, this is like, I will settle for this, you know?
Yeah. And I don't know why that kind of reminds me, like also just, this is probably completely way off, but as far as receiving, like sometimes women, we have a tough time receiving good things. And if we don't receive like the small good things, how are we going to receive, you know, big things that are great if we refuse to receive the small things?
Absolutely. Yeah. And that has to do a lot with, you know, feeling worthy, feeling deserving. And yeah, it's impossible. It's impossible to manifest money or love or anything if you are not ready to receive.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I agree.
So now my mind just went, whoop. Oh, got it. I wanted to talk a little bit about your eating disorder.
Mm-hmm.
Can you share with us like how that started and also how you ended up getting out of that?
Mm-hmm. So it started, I want to say, pretty early in life. I was 13 when I started with bulimia. But I want to say that the first time I thought my body wasn't beautiful or wasn't normal, or, you know, I don't know how to even say it, but when the first time I thought there was something wrong with the way I looked, I was 8 years old. So I think it was pretty early on, but the first time I actually binged and then threw up, I was 13. And I went from bulimia to anorexia, and then binge eating disorder, and then bulimia again. I feel like bulimia, it's been like the longest, you know, and it was like on and off. But yeah, that was like 20 something years in my life. It was the majority of my life, basically. It's been being in that path. And get out of it, it's hard. I feel like it requires a lot of healing in so many areas, you know. It's like you gotta learn how to nourish your body, and, you know, eating foods that are good for you. It's like balancing what I call, like, you know, the brain, and then balancing the hormones, and, you know, balancing your body. Then it's working with all your trauma, with your childhood issues, inner child, all that stuff. And then learning to really not only listening, but feeling your emotions, you know, and not being afraid of that. Because I feel like that's the whole numbing thing. It's like not wanting to deal with a certain situation, emotion. So life gets harder in a way, you know, when you're not numbing, because it's like, okay, now I have to face this thing. But at the same time, it's like you live fully, which is the beauty of it. Because when you numb both sides of the spectrum. I feel like you numb the bad things, but also the good things. It's like you don't allow yourself to feel fully.
So powerful. I love it. Yeah. I think that we often think like we're being stronger by numbing, but actually, you know, the stronger thing and the healthier thing tends to be going through the pain, feeling it as it's coming, which can be hard.
It is really hard. And even if because sometimes what I do, it's like a conscious numbing that I call, you know, when it's like, okay, I know what's going on. I'm really tired today. I'm going to allow myself to just watch Netflix tonight, or, I'm going to go and eat that ice cream tonight. And I know it's not the right thing, but I'm going to be compassionate with my decision tonight. I'm not going to, blame, like put any shame or blame on what I'm doing. And yeah, I'm going to deal with this tomorrow. I'm going to take a little break, but I'm going to have that compassion.
Yeah, and that can be so helpful. I know a couple of years back, I had lost a loved one, and a counselor suggested, okay, you don't have to cry at work. You don't have to be upset at work, but every day at 4 o'clock when you get home from work, then you can cry. You can be upset for a half an hour or hour and use that time to cry it out. And I found that easier so I didn't feel like I was ignoring the problem, or I didn't feel like I was ignoring the person that died, but I was also able to deal with my emotions.
It's so important.
Yes.
It's really, really powerful. So going back to what it means to like really get out of a situation like that and heal, it's just a process, and it comes in layers, because I feel like I still have body dysmorphia. Like, I'm very conscious about it. But the thing, it's like, I don't let that ruining my life. It's like before, like years ago, I will wake up, and if I feel bloated, or because I don't weigh myself anymore either, but I will weigh myself and like, oh my gosh, I gained 3 pounds. Okay, I'm not going to wear shorts for a week. I'm not going to go to the beach. I'm not going to go out with anyone. I'm going to stay home and eat salads every day, that kind of thing. So now it's like, no, I just eat normal. I'm bloated today. Oh, well, what can I do? I'm going to wear something more comfortable. I'm not going to be looking at myself in the mirror the entire day. And I'm going to just eat normal, like nothing has happened, instead of like continuing that cycle of restricting and then binging and then restricting, and.
Is there anything that you say to yourself when you're thinking negative thoughts about your body?
Yeah, I feel like I pretty much ignore it. I mean, I listen to it and I'm like, oh, today, oh my gosh, I'm so bloated. Okay. And I just let it go. It's like, okay, next thing, I don't get obsessed with it, and I don't keep feeding those thoughts that I know that are not true, or if they're true, they're not helpful. It's like, you think about it, our body changes every single day. Like, our cells change, everything changes. And so, yeah, I just try to, I've done a lot of work in self-esteem as well, a lot of work. And actually, something that I still do every single day, I have this little bag with different words. It's like, I don't know, beautiful, resourceful, intelligent, like different words. And I always pull out 3 words and I put it in my fridge. It's like little magnets. And those are my words for the day. And I've been doing that for years, and it's just a little thing, but it makes me feel good every day. It's like, oh, well, today I am full of life, and I am, in shape, and I am resourceful, So yeah, it's a lot of work, but it's worthy.
I think the things that we say about ourselves, like, especially after I am, like, we should be intentional about those. And I get it. We all say something sometimes. But I, like, for many years, I would try to be like, I am strong, I am capable, I will overcome, I will survive. And I would say that to myself every single day, just to kind of remind myself, like, I can get through this, and it just kind of became ingrained in my memory.
Yeah, it's definitely powerful. And also, like, what I've been doing, it's like, no identifying myself with certain words. It's like, for example, if I feel, I don't know, depressed, it's like, it's not like I am depressed. It's like, I feel, depressed, or I feel this way, or I think this way, but it's not like I am. It's not attaching that to myself, because feelings like really come and go all the time. So I feel like it's also separating myself and my worthiness from anything that it's happening in the moment,
Yeah. And it can be just like the teeny tiny phrase or just a switch of a word that can make a big difference.
Yeah. Yeah, totally.
So what would if somebody has a friend or a loved one struggling with an eating disorder, what is a way they can support them or help them?
I feel like the best way is just being there. And being there means you might not be able to help that person, because for something like that, it's literally the person needs to make that decision of healing and ask for help. But just being there, being present, I think that's really helpful, because it's very lonely. It's very, very lonely. You isolate yourself completely, and it's super, super painful. So I guess like being there, it's really important. And for the person who is facing that, it's like really knowing that there are, solutions, and healing, it's real, it happens, but it requires commitment and work. And I feel like sometimes for people, or that happened to me at least, I had to hit rock bottom before decided to actually heal. I got to a point when I'm like, okay, I feel like if I don't do anything about this, like I would rather die, because this is not living, this is not the life I want. And so, yeah, sometimes you have to hit rock bottom.
Yeah. And I mean, I think it can be hard for friends, family, loved ones to stand by and watch it happening. And sometimes people just avoid it because they don't know what to say. But I like how you say, just be there.
It's just just be there in any way you can. And then it's really up to the other person. It's so hard. Yeah.
So, Francesca, let's end with a tip to encourage women who are in the arena fighting for the life that they want.
So the only thing I will say is be brave. It's like, be brave to really listen to your heart. It's like, what do I really want? What's the life that I really want? And you never know. I heard this from someone years ago, and I love this like little illustration of what I'm trying to say. It's like, when you go skydiving, you are never afraid. The part when you're afraid of, it's like when you are in the plane, right? The anticipation, not when you're falling. Once you're falling, there's like freedom, right? There's no fear. It's like, oh, you're present, you're there. And all the fear comes during the anticipation of it. And the same happens when you're going to make a decision that can be, like you said, it can be small, it can be big, but it's like you gotta just go through that first fear or resistance, that it's your mind telling you not to because you're afraid and it's dangerous or whatever. You're feeling all this like, oh, you don't want to do it. But once you jump, there's this freedom, there's this like beauty on the other side. And also, you really never know all the things that you're gonna gain when you make a decision, or when you follow your heart one step at a time. It's like, you don't know. It's like our brain, it's wired to tell you all the reasons, that all the things that can go wrong, right? When you're gonna do something new. But you actually don't know all the wonderful things that can happen on the other side. So keeping that in mind.
Yes. To beers, listen to Francesca, follow your heart, and just jump. I love it. So, Francesca, how can we connect with you?
So, well, I have my website is empoweringuniqueness.com. Uniqueness, like you. And then Instagram as well, Empowering Uniqueness, and Facebook, Francesca Alejandra.
Francesca, you have been a total badass, and I've enjoyed hearing your story.
Thank you so much. It's been so fun. Thank you.
And with that, we'll end our show. To all the badass women out there staying in the arena, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, own it and get after it. Wasn't the interview with Francesca amazing? If you liked it, make sure to tune in on Thursday to hear why Francesca is so badass. Of course, you listened to this episode, so you get it. I'm sure you already know, but I'll share my perspective on it. And then a challenge coming up called It's Not About the Numbers. So if you're ever focused on the scale or focused on how much money you have in your bank account or what your credit score is, you definitely want to join It's Not About the Numbers challenge, because we are going to address these factors. I'm going to put the link in the show notes, also in the podcast notes. So sign up for It's Not About the Numbers challenge if you're tired of focusing on the numbers on the scale, or you're tired of focusing on the numbers in your bank account. Let's make a change together. All right. With that, I will talk to you on Thursday, my friend.
Now that you've listened to this episode of Ordinary to Badass, we want to hear from you. Go to our website, ordinarytobadass.com/podcast, and submit your own experience on how you took your life from ordinary to badass, and get the chance to be on a future Spotlight episode of the show. That's ordinarytobadass.com/podcast. While you're waiting for the next episode of the show, wipe off the sweat, dust off the dirt, and get back in the arena.